gentlemen. Lamar Jackson, along with Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, and Sam Darnold, all eligible for their second contracts. There's been some chatter about that in recent days. Here's Eric DeCosta, the Ravens GM, earlier today, talking about Lamar Jackson and whether or not he deserves a second contract.
I will be talking to Lamar probably within the next 10 days or so. He's down in Florida, but we've got a great relationship. He's got a great relationship with this organization. He's a very easy person to talk to, and certainly deserves a contract. He has played phenomenal football over the last couple of years, and our intention and my intention is to keep him in Baltimore for many, many years.
Interesting dynamics with Lamar Jackson. Number one, he doesn't have an agent. Now, some of the guys who have no agent truly have no agent. Others who don't have an agent actually have an agent who isn't really an agent, isn't an authorized, certified NFLPA agent, but does the work, maybe at an hourly rate, not at a percentage fee. And this whole no agent trend has arisen from the idea that guys don't want to give up 1 or 2 or up to 3% of their salary to someone who will get them a hell of a lot more than the 100% they would get on their own, which is just, I don't want to start down that path. That's not what it's about. But the point is, as it relates to Lamar Jackson, without an agent, it puts the Ravens in a position where they could maybe do a team-friendly deal, especially with the salary cap in the range of $180 million. Hey, Lamar, you want some financial security? You're not going to make much money this year? Here's what we'll do. Here's what we can do. We can't do more than that because the cap's going to be too low. There is an opportunity there to kind of subtly finesse a team-friendly deal with Lamar Jackson, at least over the next few years.
And if you don't get that deal that you're looking for as a team, Mike, you kick the can down the road just like the Cowboys did with Dak Prescott and say, okay, we'll hold out and wait, which is what I think they should do, frankly, and I think you agreed with me on this. I want to see more from Lamar Jackson in the postseason. 1-3 in the postseason, 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's been great in the regular season. We know that. Nobody has more wins in the regular season since he became the full-time starter since Lamar Jackson does. He's been terrific. He has an MVP award. But, Mike, this reminds me so much of the Ravens and Joe Flacco coming off that Super Bowl MVP award. The Ravens made Joe Flacco the highest paid player in football, and after that they went 42-41, made 1 playoff appearance, and were 1-1 in the postseason with Joe Flacco. It did not work out. I want to see more from Lamar Jackson if I'm the Ravens before I commit that kind of money and that kind of length of contract to Lamar Jackson.
The injury risk is a big part of it as well. And they've got him for another year of his base rookie deal, and then they have the 5th-year option. Now, the new CBA revises the 5th-year option a bit. I think he'll be eligible for franchise tag money, even though he was the 32nd pick. It changed the formula for first-round picks based upon how often you play, how much you accomplish in your first 4 years or 3 years in the NFL. But they'll pick up the 5th-year option by May 3rd, and they'll have that certainty. The question, though, then becomes, what do they do and when do they do it as it relates to a long-term deal? And, you know, at some point, there is, I think, some wisdom in just letting a guy hit the market. Even if you want to try to sign him on the open market, I mean, sometimes a guy wants too much and it's not going to be out there. You know, I've said that with the Cowboys prior to the injury, prior to the franchise tender. You know, the whole concept of the franchise tag is it takes a guy off the market. It keeps a guy from hitting the open market. And if the Cowboys don't want to pay Dak Prescott a long-term deal driven by the amount of the franchise tag, then just let him hit the market and see what the market bears and try to sign him. If someone else, you know, offers X, you offer X plus 1. But, you know, roll the dice and see if you think that the market's not going to be out there for him. And I think for a guy like Lamar Jackson, I don't know what the market would be. I don't know that somebody would offer him 40, 45, 50 million a year. Sims and I discussed recently, Charean, our belief that moving forward, there will be tiers of quarterback contracts. It's no longer going to be, this is the next guy who's up for a contract, so he just becomes the highest paid quarterback in league history until the next one. There was like a cascading effect of that a few years ago when it went from Derek Carr, to Andrew Luck, to Matthew Stafford, to Jimmy Garoppolo, to Kirk Cousins, to Matt Ryan, to Aaron Rodgers. And Patrick Mahomes kind of changed that, but I think there really are the best of the best, and they're going to have their range. The next cut, they're going to have their range. The next cut, they're going to have their range. That's going to be the only fair way to do it. Because I just think, you put Lamar Jackson on the open market right now. Well, definitely he's not getting $45 million. Definitely not in this climate. But I think that's just part of the analysis the Ravens have to engage in.
Yeah, no question about it, Mike. And, they need to help him too. And I know Eric DeCosta talked today about, well, we don't think we necessarily need a number one receiver. Well, it says you does. The stats say you do. You were 32nd in passing for whatever reason. Yes, you threw the fewest passes, but that was probably more by design than anything else. But they've got to improve that passing game, Mike, if they're going to compete for a Super Bowl. In this day and age, you can't be number one in passing and number one in rushing and 32nd in passing and win a Super Bowl. That's not the way this game is played. And I know they're not going to change their offense, and that's fine. It's worked very well in the regular season. But they have to be better at passing the football in the postseason if they're going to win a Super Bowl. It's as simple as that. I mean, it's not rocket science to figure that out. You've seen it. You've seen it now in 3 postseasons with this team. They've got to pass the ball better and score more points.
Yeah, I agree with you completely, and it's just one of the things you're going to have to figure out if they want to get to the next level. There's just teams out there that feel like they're bumping up against a ceiling. Packers, Ravens, Vikings, it's a lower ceiling for them. Cowboys, it's even lower than that. But how do you start busting through these ceilings? And for the Ravens, the key is getting a passing game.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.